Hey everybody! Again, always a shock to see you're all here.
Howdy.
Hey everyone. Welcome back. We've got such an epic show planned for tonight. I'm so excited because this witness that we've got on is just phenomenal. And we were just chatting with him briefly before we went live, and such a great guy. You're absolutely gonna love him. So thank you for joining us. I'm Lindsay Raymond. That's Charlie Raymond. Do you remember who you are this week?
Yes.
We've got a great storm going on outside. It's passed over a little bit, but we might get a few flashes. We've had some really good lightning, and we might get a few thunderclaps. So it's very atmospheric for tonight's show.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited as well. Jimmy contacted us. I think it was about a year ago, wasn't it?
I think it was fall. I should have checked. I'm not sure. I think it was fall because I remember being down there and all the beautiful colours in the trees.
So maybe
it was such a beautiful time.
over a year ago, and he agreed to meet us at Somerset. And we pulled up next to him in a parking lot, and I had already heard his story on the phone, and I got super excited listening to him, the emotion and the detail. And like, man, we got to interview him. So he agreed. We went down there. He started telling the story. And I look over to Lindsay. I go, see, isn't this incredible?
Yeah.
So I couldn't wait to go do the interview. And his interview's #1 on our YouTube. I can look here and see how many likes we got or whatever. Let me take a peek. I'll tell you how many likes it is if I can find it. It's always tricky to find stuff on here.
But anyway, we figured it'd be a unique experience for you guys to be able to interact with such a great witness that's had such an amazing encounter. Hopefully you had a chance to check out his video interview. We're not going to show it tonight. We might play a clip if Charlie was able to pull up, but it's fantastic.
This ain't right.
Yeah, it is. No. No.
I'm looking at the stats on his video, and something's not right.
Yeah, but the views are right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm trying to see what it.
It's 135,000.
Yeah. Okay. 135,000 people.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get Jimmy on here.
Hold on. Let's just quickly do a roll call.
Roll call. Sorry.
So guys, remember we are audience based, and we want to see your questions because we want you to interact with this witness. We have forewarned him, so be kind. It's kind of, like I said, a unique experience because I don't think this happens very often where you get to essentially almost interview him yourself. I'm going to shut up talking and let's quickly see who's in the room. Jess is here. Hi Jess Featherston. Laura's back. Hi Laura, that's us. Don Neal is back. Welcome, Don. It's good to see you again. Hope to see you this weekend at our upcoming expedition. Day Trooper GW, good evening. Judy's here. Hi, Judy. Joseph Peck, Jim Dodge. Hey, Jim. Debbie Hall. Hi, Debbie. Who else? Jamie Cox is here. Hey, Jamie. We'll be seeing you soon. Greg Cash is here as well. Hello, Greg. Cincy girl from Cincinnati, maybe. Hello.
Well, that's a good guess.
Yeah. Christy Cox. Hey, Christy.
Brian Archibald, my long lost buddy.
Oh yeah.
My long lost buddy.
From back when Charlie was a teacher.
When I was a sort of a teacher.
Carlos is back. Hey, Carlos. Jonas Zacateko. Okay, I'm not sure if I said that right, but it's good to see you here, Jonas. Lane is back. Hey, Lane. Rick Carter. Hi, Rick. Stephanie Fultz. OBG 454. Okay. I think I got most of you that said hi in the chat.
Welcome, everybody.
There's people lingering in the background too. Don't be shy. Bring your questions up because we need to hear them.
All right, let's get Jimmy on. A little background about Jimmy real quick. Jimmy's sighting was down by Somerset, and he was a bow hunter, or is a bow hunter, and he had a pretty terrifying encounter. Broad daylight. I'd say face to face, but it was pretty close. But I'm going to bring Jimmy on and let you guys um, meet Jimmy. This is Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jimmy.
So, Jimmy, one thing I don't tell you this, but I tell other people this. When I met you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you held this experience in for many, many years, right? You didn't tell anybody.
No, no, I didn't.
And why didn't you tell people for many years?
Well, you know, that wasn't my very first experience with these things. I had two uncles when I was 7 years old down on a river, and one of these things come off in our camp. And when our family inside the immediate family knew this, and I tried to share stuff that was going on with me, and it just wasn't received good. So and then I kept quiet because I thought everything paranormal wise, Bigfoot wise, whatever, I thought it was normal. I thought, it was just, that's the way it was. And my sister, um, she wanted me to start opening up about this, but yeah, it's been a lifelong thing, and I really don't understand why, but if you go back and look and listen to people that it starts at a young age and goes throughout their whole life. It's not every day, it don't happen every day, but every time you least expect it, that's when something happens.
And you said you told your wife eventually because you were losing sleep.
Yeah, yeah. It bothers me right now. No matter how fast you are in your dreams or in real life, these these the dreams that I was having, these things were coming around a cliff at me, and I just couldn't run fast enough, and just what I seen face to face is it changes your life forever. It really does. And I stayed away from these places for almost 15, 20 years because um if I didn't go back, it didn't happen, if that makes sense.
You know,
And
you said that the TV shows, all the TV shows that were coming on, triggered the memories, and that's when you started losing sleep. So you finally told your wife, right?
mhm,
And you agreed to talk to us. Were we
yeah.
the first? Were we the
Mhm,
first ones you talked to?
mhm,
And so one thing I mentioned to people about this, some of these experiences are very traumatic for the witness, and I don't realize that it really affects them profoundly, and it's almost like coming out. I say in a way, first you tell your loved ones, then they accept you, accept your story, and then you tell the public. That's like the next step of coming out is
mhm,
going public with your sighting, and we're glad you chose us to go public.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been like a healing process, right? I think I noticed on YouTube you comment on a lot of comments that
It helped. It helped a lot, really, to kind of get it off your chest, and it's like you're holding a big, deep, dark secret. You'd be out and the public can hear something about somebody say something about Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever, and they get laughed at. And I was just I'd just draw myself back. I wouldn't really open up.
Well, I remember when we were down there beside that lake. What was that lake called?
Lake Cumberland.
It was Lake Cumberland. Yeah, it was beautiful, gorgeous time of year too. And I remember just hearing you speak, because before we went down by the lake, I don't know if you remember, we were chatting with you. We met you in, like, I don't know, a hotel parking lot or something. Right?
Yeah, it was a parking lot at a restaurant.
We met you there, and I remember just sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm looking over, listening to you tell this story, and it's just like car to car window, and just being absolutely blown away. It was like, oh my god, like amazing encounter. and told so well with so much detail, and it's been so well received. And then we went down to the lake, and we got Charlie got his cell phone on in your face and everything, and you did it all again, and it was perfect. Such a great encounter.
So why, if you don't mind, because a lot of people on here may not have heard it, if you could do a summarized version, like 10 minutes or less, but save all the good details and the emotion. Don't cut any of that out, but just kind of talk about what you were doing that day and what happened.
Okay, it started out, me and my dad had permission to hunt this land, and that weekend he decided not to go, and I thought, well, I'll go myself. And so I go up there and park my truck, go up on the mountain side of the mountain. It was about the fifth bench up, and set up my tree stand. Hunted till about, I don't know, 11 o'clock, something like that. Got down out of my tree stand, sat there on a rock and ate my lunch. And then I got to thinking, yeah, I remember my dad and my uncles telling me about this gap that went up the side of the mountain. It wasn't a gap. It was like an old Indian trail, but it was just wore out. I thought, heck yeah, I'll go up there. I go up there. This is probably, I don't know, getting maybe around 1 o'clock. And the ridge goes from my left to right, and it goes out to the right. It goes out there probably 150, 200 yards. It makes a turn to the left and drops off. So I thought, yeah, I'll set up here. And I seen some deer signs. So I set up and got up in the tree. I was looking through my binoculars, around. I seen a finger ridge running down about 10 o'clock. And there was all kinds of horn trees running down. I thought, man, I'm in the wrong spot. So I go easing down through there. I'm camoed from head to toe. I mean, bow, my arrows, my snake boots were camo, gloves, face mask with my eyes blacked out, hat pulled down, and I eased down through there, but I didn't take my tree stand, and I had my grunt call around my neck, had my deer antlers hanging on my right arm at the bend, and so I hit my horns, hit my grunt, trying to imitate, like two bucks are fighting, and I hear something where that ridge goes out to the right and turns, a big commotion. I thought, man, that's a big buck. And about the time that I take and hit these horns again, no soon as they touch, that's when this thing comes off the side of the hill toward me, comes down through, and I can see the stuff moving. It was late fall with a bunch of white oak and beech. The leaves were yellow, but it was so thick you couldn't see it, but I could see it moving, and it come down and come up about a third of the way, 70 yards at 12 o'clock. So I've got my bow ready, and I'm thinking, I've got my antlers on the bend of my arm. What am I going to do if this thing steps out? And I thought, well, I'll pull back anyway. So I'm sitting there staring at 12 o'clock. And about the 10 o'clock position, there's a beech tree. God, it was massive, probably 36, 40 inches diameter. Well, I'm staring down over the hill, and I see movement. And so I turn my head and look, and this thing come out from behind the tree. And when it come out, I, like right now, I still try to put into words. My mind shut down, but in my mind, I'm thinking, why ain't you down there where all this commotion was at? You know what I'm saying? This thing come out and didn't make a noise, and it's staring straight at me. I'm uphill. I'm probably a 2-to-1 to 3-to-1 slope. I'm uphill, so everything behind me is leaves and trees and stuff. But when it comes out, it has his right hand on the tree, and it just comes right around, and it's staring at me, and its eyes are squinted, and it looks so confused. And in my mind, I'm thinking, my God, what am I looking at? And we're just having a stare. I'm talking 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm trying to figure out what this is. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is demonic. It's the devil, and that's what my mind was thinking, because this thing was huge. I mean, 4 feet wide at the shoulders, 8 or 9 feet tall, black, with charcoal gray skin. I mean, I was close enough. I could see the wrinkles on its face. Forehead to brow ridge was real big, real prominent, massive jawline. You could see the muscle details in it. But this thing was just staring at it. It wasn't really rocking its head because they don't have a head. I mean, its shoulders look like bowling balls, and the muscles, the traps or whatever they call them, it just looked like logs. And I'm thinking, what am I looking at? And this, like I said, this is going on, and I can start to hear my antlers shaking and rattling where I'm shaking all over. And then all of a sudden, this thing started leaning to the left. It kept its hand on that tree, and its hands are massive. Its fingers are 7 or 8 inches long. But when this thing reaches to the ground with its left hand, it never took its eyes off me. I could not take my eyes off of it. I'm watching the other movement, through your like peripheral vision, and that thing goes to the ground, and I didn't see its hand, but I could hear it hit the leaves like it was moving around. And I'm thinking, when it done that, I thought, in my mind, I thought, this is a bear. I'm looking at a bear. It's getting ready to go down. No. When this thing stood back up, the only way I can describe it is its face melted. It just dropped. It went from a puzzled look to, I just remember, yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody when they get angry or something, they'll have a certain look or a confused look, and then it just totally changes. But when it just dropped, when it starts taking shape, it went from a puzzled look to a pissed off look, is the only way I can describe it. And that's when I could see its teeth. They were white, they were blocky teeth, no canines. But its head its eyes are every bit of 8 inches apart or better. Its head was way bigger than a basketball, didn't have a conical head. It was black with an ash gray. Out toward the ends of the hair, it went to a brownish orange look. And you could see some debris in its hair. And some places you could see like where maybe something that got caught up in it. It wasn't a lot of trash, but its hair was matted in a couple places. But its arms, I remember the hair, at first I said it was fur, but it wasn't. It was hair hanging off its arms. Didn't have no hair right around the eyes. The hair come down here. If it had anything like a mustache, it wasn't very prominent until it got to the neck. But its chest, and what really intimidated me about it the most is when I seen this thing was getting worked up. You could see its chest moving in and out. It never made no vocals. It never done nothing. But when it figured out that I wasn't two deers or I was somebody there, I mean, it changed, and that's when I knew I had to go. And I turned to my left, and I went up there, and I'm holding my bow, and I'm digging with my right hand and stuff, and the antlers come off. I lose a flashlight, and I'm going up the hill, and I'm thinking I'm going to die, and a lot of it is when I when I got to the top of the hill, I wet on myself. I'm not going to lie. I don't know, it's embarrassing to say, but like talking about it right now, when you slow yourself down, if you've had a traumatic encounter with anything, it takes you right back there. I'm shaking real fidgety like, but anyway, I get to the top of the hill and I turn and look. It ain't at the tree no more. It's coming after me. So I crested the hill and I go down the other side. And as soon as I'm going down the other side, I look again and I can see its head and shoulders coming. And I mean, this thing is mad. It is mad. And I remember running down that hill and I could hear my heart pounding through my ears over my feet hitting the ground. And the arrow flies out of my bow. I'm barreling down the hill, and when I get to the bottom, I got to make a little bit of a right angle to have a straight shot to my truck. When I get there, here this thing is coming down the trail, and he's gaining on me fast. But when this thing was running, it they don't run like a human. This thing looked like it was floating. That's when I heard its feet hit, and I mean they were thumps, and it wasn't swinging its arms. It was kind of leaned forward, hunched over. Its arms are 7 or 8 feet long. It looked like. I mean, these things are. I don't know where they're from. Just a personal opinion. I don't know if they're part of the Nephilim or whatever. I mean, I just don't understand how these things exist. But anyway, when I get to the bottom, I look and here it comes. But its arms wasn't swinging. Its arms were out to the side. I call it like a sneak tactic or whatever. It looked like this thing was about ready to jump or pounce or whatever it was. But the look in its face is the worst nightmare that you can imagine. I'm barreling off down over that hill. I mean, running with everything I got. I get to the second to the last bench and I step in a hole where a tree had blown over. You know how the leaves will level it off. While I was running so fast, I flipped over and landed on my back and slid down, jumped up. And when I got down to my truck, throw my bow on the ground, and I'm thinking the whole time, he's coming, he's coming. He's going to get me now. Right here's his chance. I figure out my keys are in the backpack. Well, I finally get the door open, throw my bow in there, it breaks the side off. And when I throw it in there, and I mean, I can't even get the key in ignition, but when I fire it and I'm looking out the window and he's not there, and I'm thinking, okay, and I grab a gear and I take off, and there's a sharp curve there, and I'm thinking, right there's where he's going to get me. He's going to get me. And when I come around the curve, he wasn't there, and thank goodness nobody else was driving on that road because I'd have probably killed them and me both.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Yeah,
Jaw dropping, all the things.
Yeah, it's
terrifying.
It's exciting for us to listen to it because we weren't there. So,
but we need to be careful what we wish for, don't we?
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Especially going into an expedition this week. Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah. And then my idiot self, you know, after that, my dad calls about Tuesday or Wednesday and says, "Hey, bud, let's go hunting this weekend." I said, "Nah, Dad." I said, I ain't going to go. I said, "Me and a bunch of my friends are going to LBL." And so Thursday night or Friday, we tear out and go to LBL, and I get in a mess out there. And
That's the worst place to go.
Well, yeah, well, back then, see, this social media wasn't out, and you know, you didn't know, and then come to find out what had happened to me out there was less than 3 miles from where Martin Grove had his. So I mean, and in the same year. So
wow,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's cool.
One thing that you mentioned, you call them horns. They're deer antlers that you clap together.
Yep.
Like two bucks fighting.
Yep.
And you clack those antlers to attract doe or whatever. So you were doing that when it came out, and then you actually were out of your stand. You were standing there, full camo. So there's something I'm going to show people. I have your picture. This picture here, you can see this. This is you right here. This is not the Bigfoot. That's AI. That is not what you saw.
Terrifying.
No, what I seen was way bigger.
Oh, was it really, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, that was way bigger. But the muscle detail, was a lot like that, but was just way bigger. Yeah, it didn't look like that. I can tell you.
But see, Jimmy, how well you blend in with your camo.
Yeah,
that's you right there, right? That's your actual picture. And you said your face was painted too.
My eyes, around my eyes.
Right. So the thing that I wanted to mention about that, the reason why that's stage me, why I think that's important. You said it was puzzled, had a puzzled look, because you're full camo. You're standing there. You weren't 2 bucks like I thought it was. And then it figured out you're a man, I think, finally.
It figured out I was an idiot. That's what it figured out. But no, I wasn't 30 yards from this thing.
And so here's the thing: it chased you, right? You're
Yeah.
pretty fast, but you didn't run track in high school, did you?
No.
Or college or anything like that.
Mm-mm,
So you're
no.
an average guy running. We all know that Bigfoot could have grabbed you.
Oh yeah, he could have grabbed me before I took 2 steps.
So here's what I tell people over and over again. You're a perfect example of these close encounters where the Bigfoot does not hurt the witness.
Mm-hmm.
It scares them because it's territorial. It wants you to leave, and it escorted you out of the woods. That happens time and time again. And that's why I don't believe these things, in my personal opinion, are evil. Because if they were evil, it could have killed you.
Yeah, it had me dead to rights that day. You know, I don't care how fast you are. Um, gee, people just don't. People don't understand till you see something and you figure out. And one thing that went through my mind the whole time is, well, when the first encounter I had with my uncles, and this goes back through my dad's family. All of my dad's brothers have had encounters and stuff that's happened. Even my uncle, he's dead and gone now. And yeah, he's seen one when he was young. I mean, 5 feet from him. And
All
that
in the
thing,
same area?
huh?
Same area? Same location?
No more than 30-minute drive.
Right.
And what county is this again?
The Pulaski's, is where I live, but the 2 encounters I had as a 7-year-old, when I was, roughly, older than that, was in Macquarie County,
Right.
and my uncle's encounter was in Wayne County.
Right.
So
They're all nearby each other.
they all join each other.
Okay. And your bow hunting one that you just recently had, the bow hunting, how old were you at that time?
Roughly about in my early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to go to the comments and see if we've got any questions in here. I did spot a couple of them, so I'm just going to scroll through. Okay.
So if you guys have a question, anybody in the chat about Jimmy's encounter, feel free, post your questions, and we will ask Jimmy.
Okay, so thank you, Jonas. Did your uncles tell any stories about Bigfoot? I think we just covered that slightly.
Yeah, they had sightings.
Yes, they did. Okay. Jim says, thank you for coming on tonight, Jimmy. And just so you guys know, Jimmy is working down in Tennessee. So we've got him on a work night. He very kindly agreed to join us tonight, but he's working hard. Are you in a hotel room or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
No problem.
We won't keep you too late, I promise.
You're fine.
Okay, Jason Hubbard. Okay, I have had a lot of strange things happening all my life too, and I'm 43 years old. Drop it in the comments.
So-
Jason, what have you had happen?
What Jason was talking about and what you were saying, Jimmy, is sometimes people, there's something about certain people that have more encounters. Well, there's 2 things. I think it's 2 things. One is the person, you're more open, you're more sensitive to all this kind of stuff, and they either trust you or the other thing I think too, the probability you're a hunter and you're living in an area where there are a lot of Bigfoots.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a sighting more than most people because you're hunting in their neck of the woods, so to speak.
Yeah, that's the truth.
There's a little bit of both, maybe.
Well, and I don't know if all these things go together, but everybody in my family knows through the years, the paranormal stuff that's happened to me is completely mind blowing.
Some people are just magnets, I think. You do hear that a lot.
Yeah, I didn't ask for it either. Trust me. If I could do it over, I wouldn't want to see, hear anything, because it just messes with your mind. It can be certain things that'll trigger it.
Mm.
And if you've really had an encounter, you can slow yourself down to where you're right back there. And that's I'm getting better with that, but it's still hard, because you know when I finally opened up, I was like, I wanted everybody to know. And then it went right back to the rolling of the eyes and this and that. And, and then I just went back to normal. I just kept my mouth shut. But for years, I thought this was normal. And I thought everybody was seeing and hearing and what I was, but no. I'm like I said, I didn't ask for none of this. And if I could take it back, I would. I mean, it wasn't like I seen one strolling through the field looking at me. I mean, I'm looking at this thing face to face, and just the sheer size of the body, the look on its face when it changed from a puzzled look to like I'm not going home. Is when they say, does your life flash before your eyes? No. In a moment like that, when you're terrified, for me personally, it didn't. I just had one thing on my mind. It was either I got out of there or I was going to die. And, that was the hard part for years.
Mhm. So we have a few more questions. Let me try to pull some more up here. Jonas is asking again. You said, was it about 30 yards from you?
Yes.
Was that when you first saw it by the tree? Was it 30 yards at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And when it was chasing you, did it ever gain on you, or did it always keep the 30 yards?
Oh no. When I turned and started up the hill, this thing wasn't 10, 15 feet behind me.
Oh my God.
And I could hear it breathing.
No wonder you had nightmares.
It's terrifying.
And you said 8 to 9 feet tall. 8 to 9 feet, you estimated?
At least. And this thing was, I've heard other people have encounters with Bigfoot said it's 300 or 400 pounds. No, this thing was at least 800 to 1,000 pounds, at least.
Yep.
I didn't really get a good look at its feet until it come over the hill, but they were massive, and their legs are weird. I mean, this thing. The only time I really got to see its arm down by its side is when it first dropped. Its left arm was going to the ground, but this thing's hands was to its knees, and its knees are not in the right place. It didn't seem in the right place to me. The thigh bone was way longer than like from the knee down.
Right. Well, good point. When they analyzed Patty, and they said the ratio of Patty's upper leg to lower leg is completely different than the ratio of a human's leg. Therefore, a person cannot be in a suit and bend their knee where Patty bends her knee.
Mm-hmm.
They figured that out doing an analysis of the Patterson footage.
And like when a human runs, how they'll bounce. These don't. They glide.
Yep.
They look like they're gliding.
Many people said the same thing. Smooth.
Do you think there was two of them that day, Jimmy?
Well, at first I didn't. Charlie, me and you talked about this. And then one person has, said, did you ever think that maybe they were two of these? From what I witnessed when he come off that hill, and this is another part that was terrifying. People don't know what these things sound like when they're charging. I mean, it sounds like an elephant running through the woods, or somebody drove a truck off the side of the mountain. I mean,
Still traumatic.
So again, you're watching the one at 12 o'clock coming up the ridge towards you, breaking branches and something big. You don't know what it is, but it's massive, breaking branches. You're watching the one at 12 o'clock, and then out of your left eye, I guess, you caught movement, and that's when the one stepped out from behind the tree.
Yeah, and when I seen it at about the 10 o'clock position, like I said, I'm staring straight ahead where this thing was. It come off the hill and up. I'm guessing maybe a third. It wasn't halfway, and I was looking, and it was just this god awful breaking, and just like all hell broke loose. I mean, this thing's coming down the hill and coming up, and then it goes deathly quiet. I mean, I'd heard birds and stuff like that, but I mean, after this sound like a tornado coming down, deathly quiet, and I'm staring, and I'm thinking I'm about to kill the world's biggest buck, and in my mind I'm thinking deers don't sound like that, but I was trying to rationalize, and things are playing a million times a second. And about that time, when I seen the movement, it wasn't a subtle movement. I mean, this thing didn't sneak around the tree; it come around the tree. I mean, with one motion, it wasn't there, and then boom, there it is. And it had its hand on the right hand on the tree because now, like I said, this is steep. It's real steep. And dude, yeah, when I seen that, I just that is the moment that it changed my life forever.
Shocking. Shocking and disturbing for you, but maybe equally so for the Bigfoot. Because maybe he was thinking, oh my God, this thing is cloaking. What the hell is that? Given his camo, like, totally wasn't expecting you to be there, was it? And the way you blended in. So I'm sure there was a bit of mutual, you know, a moment of like, what the hell for both of you. But coming from a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, that would just be incredible.
So when you had the sighting back then, was there anybody at all that you told initially?
No,
Nobody.
no one for years.
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 Was it your wife now, the first person you told, or was there a friend or somebody?
No, I kind of mentioned it to my dad and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, well, it really wasn't funny. The weekend that I'm at LBL and go through what I went through out there, my dad goes down there and shoots every arrow that he had with him at deer and never had any encounter. But he was on the side of the mountain that I first started on. He didn't go to the other side. And he was 200 or 300 yards on around the ridge on the same bench as me, but way around there. And then I thought, when I found out, I thought, my God, I didn't say nothing to him. What if something happened to him? That would have been on my shoulders, you know, the reason I didn't say nothing.
All right, let's go back in the comments for a second. So I just wanted to mention this. Study Sasquatch. I had a very similar experience in 09. The face seized up tight. So we also chased off the mountain too, or was it just a face-to-face? Be interested to hear that story. So where was this one? Okay, so Day Trooper. Any smell from the Bigfoot?
No smell?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, the wind was coming from my left to right.
Okay.
Yeah, no smell. And one thing that I want to say is this thing did not look like a chimp or a monkey. It looked like it was human looking. And what it reminded me of is like a Neanderthal, but maybe like an old Indian, or it was hideous looking is the only thing I can say, but it did not look like a monkey. It had human,
Or
the
human.
body, you know, human, but the face was human too. It didn't have no snout that stuck out. The brow ridge was just, the eyes were, God, its eyes was way bigger than a golf ball, maybe a lemon or a small lemon size. But I could see spots around the very edges of it. But this is the weird part. You know, a lot of people have said their eyes were black, like glossy coal. This thing's and the pupils were huge, but they had a how can I say this? Like a shimmer or a shine, almost like a if anybody's ever killed a deer and after it's passed away, you see that reflection like a mirror type deal. It's weird looking. That's what this thing looked like.
That's interesting. I don't think I've heard that before.
On the nose, can you describe the nose?
Yeah, the nose it looked human, but it was just like smashed to its face. It had hoods, but its nose was, I'd say, from the outside of the hoods was every bit of 3 inches wide. And like I said, the wrinkles in here, the skin was a dark, like an ash gray, and I mean, I'm talking wrinkles. right around under here and his forehead hit. If anybody's ever seen an elephant skin, how deep though, I mean, it's just,
Like leathery,
yes,
like
it,
thick
it
leathery. So was it more like Neanderthal than human looking?
yes.
You know, we brought Terry Thomas up. Terry Thomas is a sketch artist. This would be a good one to sketch. If Terry's a KBRO researcher as well in our organization, and maybe we can get Terry your phone number, and then you can describe in detail the face, and he'll make a sketch of what you saw.
Yeah, I don't care to do it, but phew, I've got it in my mind. I don't know how I'll react if when I see it on paper. I'm being frankly honest. I mean, I'm like a little kid right now. I'm scared. I mean, when you have something like this to happen, and people, I don't care if you think I'm lying or whatever. I guarantee if you was in my shoes, you'd be the same way. It messes your life up forever, and you figure out as you were a kid, and when your parents would tell you monsters ain't real, they lied to you because that's the only way I could describe it. If anything that big, it ain't no human, it's a monster. And I mean, that's just my perspective from what I witnessed.
Right.
I mean, your brain, like right now, just trying to think back, and I remember my knees were knocking, and I was froze. I couldn't move. But when this thing's face dropped and hit, it morphed into just a pissed off look. I knew then that's what brought me out of it. And they always say, don't stare them in the eyes, but I couldn't help it. This thing had me locked in, and it, like I said, this wasn't a 10-minute encounter, 10-second or 20-second or whatever. This was at least 3 to 5 minutes. And the scary part is I didn't really notice the breathing until it got itself worked up when its face changed. And when I'm talking that was no more than 10 seconds. And that's when I knew I had to go because this thing was working itself up. It had done figured out that I wasn't what it thought I was, and I was in its territory.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It didn't see you, so it's shocked, and then it's coming to its senses, and it's like this thing's a threat. And that's probably when you saw its facial features change, and you got the sense that I'm in mortal danger here. And I would imagine that's probably when you came back to life and thought, I need to get out of here real quick.
Yeah,
That's the way it plays in my mind, how it all came about. So I think we covered this one, Brian. What did its eyes look like? Was their color or solid black? They were black. Is that what you said?
Like black, yeah, black eyes. They're black.
Yeah, no, I heard, where other people talked about they were like glassy coal, or you know what I'm saying, or like I can't remember the name of that, like where the Indians would use that stuff, and it would be real sharp, tannerite or something. No, anyway, I can't remember, but no, its eyes was not black.
Oh.
I could see the white all the way around, but it wasn't white like ours. You could see it on the very edges, but the center it had a shimmer or a silver look. It's something that you can't describe, and its pupils were the size of a quarter, at least.
That's
and
huge.
and the eyes were as big as a lemon.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. If you want to get into what would it be, the biology of it, like if its pupils are that big, how much light is getting
more light
to the back of its retina or whatever that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like how much can it see, and how many light spectrums can it see? I'm guessing more than us. Like if its pupils are that big, the possibility of it being able to see so much more is beyond.
Did you ever go back to that area?
No way. I've been in the general area, but I have never stepped foot back on that mountain.
Oh, really?
And I won't go.
I don't blame
I
you.
don't. Yeah, I don't blame you
I
either.
don't blame you.
If I'd have had a gun that day instead of my bow, if I'd have had a 7 Magnum or whatever, there's no way I would have shot. There's no way. When you've got something that's 800 to 1,000 pounds, I mean, this was a big boy. This, you hear a lot of them where they're tapered waist. No, sir, this did not have a tapered waist. This thing was massive from its head to its feet, but hands were its hands were hideous. Its fingers and their cuticles are not pink like ours. Them things were dark charcoal, blackish color, and the hair out on the end was like a tan or a brownish orange.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. That the hair changes color. It goes from like a dark to like a light reddish brown. We hear that a lot. The tips either gray or a reddish brown on the tips. What about the fingers, real quick? Were they sharp, long nails or flat?
No, it had fingernails. Didn't have claws. At the end, were the fingernails longer? I couldn't tell you. The thing, and like I said, now I never took my eyes off its eyes, but I can see this right hand on the tree, and I mean it's massive. I told you, I think in our earlier interview, if that thing had put its palm on my head, its fingers would have been below my chin.
Jeez.
Now, was its hands kind of gnarly, or did they look human-like?
Human.
So could you see kind of did you ever get to see the underside of its hand?
Yeah, they were ash charcoal gray.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't change, like a lot of people's hands or whatever, the palms are different. No, this thing's skin tone was the same all over.
And the back of the hand, was the back covered in hair all the way down the fingers?
Not all the way down the fingers, but to the top of the fingers.
So somewhere in here,
Yeah,
hair, and then it
yeah.
kind of
And I remember when it had its arm up on the tree, the hair was hanging down. It's 3 or 4 inches long, and it's hair. It's not fur. It's hair.
right.
I mean, you could when it was like moving its left hand when it was leaning over and stuff, you could see the hair. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it took me forever, but slowing down and stuff. I always said if I don't believe in being, I don't know if it's hypnotized or whatever they call it. I don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know if I'd do it, but I can tell you right now I won't do it. But I don't want to go back there.
You don't want to.
Uh-uh.
Do you looking back now? Do you regret having this experience, or is this something that you feel like you're one of the lucky ones and you're special, or do you regret it?
I regret it.
You regret it.
Yeah, because like I told you, earlier when we talked and everything, me going back to this general area, I go to 2 different places, and the stuff I seen blowed my mind. And I don't care if anybody believes me. I can stand in front of God right now, and I am telling the truth. By me going back up there, this stuff come to my house.
You said like orbs. Was it
Uh,
orbs?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, well, I sent you pictures. I've got dozens of pictures of orbs around deer, and I seen one the size of a softball. It just come out of nowhere, and while I'm up there and this is going on, she's back at the house, and I get so scared and terrified. I go back home and I'm trying to tell her what's happened, and she's worked up and she's trying to tell me that something had come up and slapped the side of the house. It slapped the side of the house so hard it shook the drain pipes. While this encounter happened to me
So when did this happen? Was this
a year and a half ago.
okay?
Yeah.
Right.
I do have a couple pictures. I have a few pictures. Here's one of them. Let me show you this here. I'm going to try to bring it up on the screen. I don't know why it's over here, but hold on 1 second. Let me bring it over here. So I'm going to show a video. It's one of the videos you sent me. Let me present this. Hide that. Let me get this up. Share screen.
Talking about the audio.
No, well, this one, if it's the audio, I'm not sure. Let me see if I could bring this up.
I think this is the orbs video.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Stop that one. So let me grab it real quick here. All right. So this one here, what was this one, Jimmy?
That there is me outside. This was 4 or 5 days after that I had got back home. There was a snow on, and I'm out there because the owl calls were so loud. We were hearing owl calls over the TV. And I go outside. Every dog in the neighborhood is going berserk. And I look across the hood of my truck, and there is 2 massive eyeballs, self-illuminated. You can see this is a full moon, and there's snow on the ground. And this, they're probably about 80 yards from me, and it was over a no, and this thing was staring at me, and I didn't know it.
So this is in the video. This
Yeah.
video. I'm gonna play it.
Okay. No, that's after it's gone, I think.
Oh.
It's probably the one before that.
Another one?
But right across the hood of the truck, you can see the snow, and there's a little knoll there. This thing was on the other side of that.
Oh,
I heard,
right
yeah.
in here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have that video?
I don't know where that is. I thought it was this video. Let me. I have the picture though. I have this picture. Hold on. Let me see. This might be the picture you sent. So this one here, is it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, zoom in, you can see it.
Yeah, let me zoom in on it. Those are huge.
See how it's between the trees, but you can tell it's over the knoll. If you was to stand right there, that the eyes are 6 feet tall, but this is over the knoll.
Right, that's huge.
I heard this thing coming through the woods, and I thought it was like 4 or 5 deer. And then I'm filming straight ahead, like toward the neighbor, and behind me is a ridge coming down. That's where the owl calls, and it started at the peak, and the last owl call is exactly in the spot where I feed the deer.
So what's back there? What's beyond that knoll?
There's a road that goes way up through there on top of the mountain,
Right.
and the road, yeah, it's not headlights because the road is probably from that knoll right there where you can see the white below the eyes. The road's probably 15, 20 feet below that.
Right. Okay.
And does the road doesn't come at you like that, right?
No,
That could be a car.
it goes to the left of the eyes.
Okay. But you were there, so you know that was not a car.
Yeah, when I seen that, I was like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, that's creepy. No, so that's where you live?
Yes.
Yeah, that is scary.
So you said you had other experiences with orbs too. I couldn't get them up here on the screen, but you've seen orbs?
Yeah, I was up there hunting. This was last. Well, no, it was a year ago. This past fall. Yeah, it was a year ago. This past fall when I seen the first one. It was the size of a softball. This thing popped up out of nowhere, and I'm talking brilliant white. And it had, I say it had rods, but when you take a picture of the sun, how it's got the rays. It didn't have them all around. It shot out both sides. Them rays were 8 to 10 feet long and went from the size of the orb down to a point. And I could see colors in the widest part. They were a light rainbowish color. And so I got out of my blind. I thought, oh, that old man's brought his grandson back up here. And it really freaked me out when I got out of my blind and I stood up. I thought, oh my God, this ain't where that truck is. Hits this one I'm seeing is on a little finger ridge it runs down. And I'm looking at it maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. And then it just poof, it goes out. So I'm standing there and I'm thinking, well, it can't be ball lightning. It was cloudy that day and cold. And I thought, what in the world did I see? So I got back in the blind and I'm sitting there and I catch movement out of my peripheral vision going up the same ridge that I seen this orb on. It was brown and it was huge, but it would go behind a tree, Charlie, that wasn't no bigger than 12 to 16 inches in diameter. It never come out the other side. 6 or 8 feet up the hill, the same thing. It would appear, go behind a little tree, and never come out the other side. I got out of the blind, went running to the house, well, as fast as I could. Um, and I get there and I'm worked up and I try to tell her and she's all worked up and said something had hit the house and I went outside and there was mud on the house about 12 feet up,
Jeez.
right below the soffit.
Oh gosh.
Crazy. The orbs, I totally believe you because we hear that so often. We've got some good friends that have got a great orb video. In fact, the place where we're doing the expedition at later this week, they captured some great orb activity coming into base camp, in fact. So that was last year, so maybe we'll get some of that again this year. But I just want to, because the time is ticking and I know it's a work night for you, so I know
You're fine. Just whatever. I'm good. I appreciate you having me on here.
Well, thank you. We have a few more questions here.
Laura, did you stop hunting after that, or how did it affect your hunting?
Yes, I stopped hunting for several years because after I had my encounter, I went to LBL and all hell broke loose out there. Me and a buddy climbed a tree. I'll tell the story real quick. We went out there and everybody in camp said, "Hey, if anybody sees a small deer, we had doe tags. Kill it and we'll tag it and use it for camp meat." Well, I stuck one. It was a bad shot, and it run down and run across the trace over toward the ATV trail, right close to the Kentucky-Tennessee border. And went back to camp, and my uncle took me and my buddy around and dropped us off, and I could see where it come off the hillside and crossed the road and went down over the ravine, and there it was, and it was dark. And we're gutting the deer, and all of a sudden coyotes fired up, or what I thought was coyotes. I don't know if this was a pack of wild dogs or whatever this was, but he looked at me, I'm gutting the deer, and he said, "Man, that ain't good." I said, "No, it ain't." And so they're approaching. I can tell when they're at the top, and then when they come over the hill, I'm not lying. We could hear their claws coming across the highway, and we both started screaming. We got to get up a tree. The only trees there was about the size, a little bit bigger than a pop can, and my feet ain't 4 feet off the ground, and his ain't either. And I'm thinking the tree's going to break. But this, whatever these were, come straight to the deer and start attacking it, no more than 10 feet behind us. We're screaming and hollering and stuff. About that time, something let out the god awfulest scream / roar. And my uncle, we didn't know this, but my uncle drove us up the road. He'd went to sleep, and that scream woke him up. And when that thing screamed, them things stopped. And then when this thing come off the hill, it sounded like a boulder flipping when it was thumping. And them coyotes ripped out there. And in my mind, I was thinking, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening to me." I thought I was running away from it, and I'm right back in the middle of it again. We come out of them trees, and I could see the ATV trail, the slash road, had like a light colored pebbles, and it had a glow to it. So I know where to go. So we're bouncing off the trees going back through there. And finally, when we hit the trace, here comes my uncle barreling down through there. And he said, "What in the hell was that?" We were just screaming, "Man, just go." We jumped in the back truck. He's trying to get us in the cabin. We jumped in the back of the truck. My buddy was saying, "My God, what was that?" I said, "Man, I don't know." We're both teared up. Get back to camp. Everybody thinks we're crazy.
Right. We did an expedition last fall out at LBL, and we captured a wolf. We've got John Harbaugh, a regular on our expeditions. He does the best howl. It's phenomenal. It's exactly like a wolf. Well, we were out on this very remote trail, and he did a wolf howl, and we got the exact same howl
Wolf.
back.
It had to be a wolf.
It had to be. So I shared it on, social media, and everybody was like thinking that it was just two wolves or whatever howling back, but that was phenomenal. So I get it. Like, there's some creepy stuff out there in LBL.
And when you say you went to LBL, you actually went out of the pot into the fire.
Yeah.
You went from a hot spot to an even hotter spot.
Yeah, and when all this is going down, I mean, it was sheer terror. He didn't know what had happened to me because I didn't tell nobody. But in my mind, I was thinking, I'm living in a true nightmare again. And I don't know why it's me. Like I said, I've never asked to witness or see any of these things. And this stuff is still going on today. It may be sporadic, but it still happens to me. And I don't like it. I really don't.
Well, I think some people are just more not susceptible, but
receptive.
Yes. You've got to be open to this stuff, because I think if you're not, these things can happen, and people don't pay attention. They ignore them. They write it off as, they don't even acknowledge it. There's some crazy things that happen. Okay, Jamie Cox. The fear is legit. Well, you were close to it. Did you happen to see the chest? You said you saw it breathing, rise up and down. Did the chest do anything else?
No, it's you hear a lot of them say it looked like a bodybuilder, and in a way it did. The muscle definition was just, I mean, even though it had hair, you could still see it. And when this thing's chest was breathing, I'm talking, like when we breathe, you can see our chest rise and stuff. But I mean, this thing looks like it's taking in 100 or 200 pounds of air and going back and forth. You can see it's just working itself up. Shoot.
Yeah, psyching itself up to go.
Now, any other people in the chat, if you've had a Bigfoot sighting, anybody that's had a Bigfoot sighting, we would like to interview you. And Lindsay will put my phone number in the chat in a minute. But we would like Madonna here. Was your encounter, Madonna, in Kentucky? Can you tell us, was your encounter in Kentucky? But I do want to give our phone number out. So if you've had a sighting, we would like to interview you.
Jason says, amazing, absolutely amazing. You're right. Okay, so what else have we got? Brian, I've heard that description about the legs. Incredible. Oh, right. Yes, we're a little bit behind in the comments.
Yeah.
Visual disturbance, multitasking. Brian.
So we definitely, if you're up to it, at some point, have Terry Thomas call you, and just over the phone, you describe it. He could watch your video too. I'll send him your video because you go into detail. And then maybe from the video, he could just sketch it, and then maybe send you the sketch just to see if it's close. And then you can say, maybe you can say, oh, the nose was wider, or no, you can kind of look at what he's got, and then
could be re-traumatizing for you.
Yeah, I don't want to traumatize you more, but
no, I mean, I can do it. I just don't know if I want to look at it. Other people can, but I really don't want to look at it. I really don't.
You don't want a life-size poster in your bedroom?
No, sir. I see it enough in my dreams.
All right, John Mathis says the other noise you heard on the ridge could have been a juvenile. That explains why the one you saw the disposition
change. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, possibly.
They say that a lot, that the a lot of animals, if there's a young nearby or female, the male will show itself to either distract you or to get you out of there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's totally possible. I don't know what was at 12 o'clock over the hill from me. I really don't know. I never seen nothing. I just seen the one that come out from behind the beech tree. Now, if there would have been a second one that popped out, I would have never made it to the top of the ridge. I'd have fell over with a heart attack. Because, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, if you really have an encounter, I don't care whether it's paranormal or whatever. If you really had one, you can slow yourself down, and you're right back in the middle. You feel the emotions, you feel the nervousness. Like right now, I'm just sweating profusely all over just talking about it. It's horrifying. It really is.
Yeah. do you feel coming out was a good thing though? Overall, was it good for you?
Yeah, yeah, and but and there's a sense though, by me doing that, it seemed like it opened Pandora's box even more. It energized me, and and then people's like, but in the back of my mind, all through the years, anything to do with Bigfoot, I was researching, I was doing this and doing that, kept it to myself. And my idiot self, I've got a big old call blaster. And what did I do 2 weeks ago? I go up on top of the hill up there with her and I blast. And I need to go through these recordings and maybe even send them to you. We got 2 responses, and coyotes went crazy, and they sound like there was a pack of at least 20 or 30, and they were acting like they were killing each other. But it was across the lake from where we were, and it's from the same place that I sent you the audio of these. As soon as I throw down the bag of corn back in January, as soon as the bag hit the ground, they reacted, but it was away from me. But if you listen to the audio, there's a low grumble. I don't know what it is, and then you hear the first, and then you hear the other sound. It sounds like something out of Jurassic Park. It's
Yeah,
two.
I I think I heard those. The ones I think you sent those. I will send those to Monongahela.
Monongahela.
He's a cryptolinguist.
Yeah.
He analyzes possible Bigfoot vocals. I will send those to him, and he's to me an expert on Bigfoot vocalizations.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I got so excited and worked up, said a couple cuss words that I probably shouldn't have, but I start hollering back. And if you'll listen, I've got 2 videos. The first one's 15 minutes long of these things, but they were further off. The last 2 minute and 19-second video that I shot, the one that was making the loudest 2-tone pitch was coming toward us, but it was on the other side of the lake. The last time I hollered out or I screamed back, you could tell my voice was echoing, but you could tell this thing was responding to me on the last call. And I was like, yep, I knew it. I knew they were here.
Well, we would love to hear it, whatever you've got, or you can put it in the group too, the KBRO group, because people would be blown away, no doubt. We up for a bit of audio. Jason, the white one I saw 3 years ago, I sketched my eye sighting as soon as I got home. That's smart, very smart. Jim, we believe every single word. This clearly has stuck with you. Brian says, so it had to be huge. I heard someone say that the head is the size of a 5-gallon bucket. That's massive.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's Kim? Hey, Kim Walker. Nice to have you with us.
We're talking Bigfoot, Kim.
Yeah.
Jimmy had a sighting. So Kim and anybody else that just joined us, if you missed Jimmy's sighting, go to our YouTube channel and find, well, what did I call it? Hunter's terrifying face-to-face encounter. Just go to our YouTube channel, scroll down until you see Hunter's terrifying face-to-face encounter, and then you can hear Jimmy tell the story.
It's amazing. Laura says, Jimmy, everything you're saying about its physical appearance makes me think it was up in age. Did you sense it was old or in its prime?
Well, it would have been older. I mean, this thing it was hideous looking, but the wrinkles, this thing looked like it had just been weathered to death. The brow ridge was just so prominent, like a Neanderthal. I mean, it was unreal. You could see the cheekbones here, but I remember the jaw ridge, and this thing when it was looking at me puzzled, it did not show its teeth. But when its face morphed to a confused, pissed off look, when it opened its mouth, and you could tell when it was breathing, inhaling and exhaling, this thing had massive blocky teeth like a donkey. I mean, they were huge.
Yes.
No canine.
Yeah.
So you hear that a lot. You hear people describe the teeth as chiclets, is what you hear. So very hardly ever do you hear people talk about canine teeth. So it makes you wonder if they're more herbivore.
Well, we think
Their teeth would suggest that.
right. Ours are like that too. We eat meat.
Right, but we don't hunt and kill meat with our bare hands and teeth.
Yeah, but
Or tear flesh with our teeth.
you don't need canines to do that. We don't.
We don't, but we've,
I don't know, but we
Yeah.
see them kill deer. We know deer is their primary food source from witnesses.
Study Sasquatch. I personally struggled with being outside during the night for about a year. So yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
There's a guy over here by Cave Run Lake. They're catfishing, and they both saw wasn't a Bigfoot, it was a dog man actually, while they're catfishing. And when they left, they're terrified. And his interviews on our channel too. But today, this is many, many years later, over 10 years ago, the one gentleman owns a business right around the corner from where the dogman sighting was. And every night he has a gate. He's supposed to get out of his car to lock the gate, and he'll never get out of his car, he says, because he thinks that creature is still there in the woods.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you really have an encounter, you have something that happens to you. I don't care how big or bad or whatever you are. I mean, it's life altering, is what it is.
Ooh, who's Dale? Dale, bring Dale up there. Hey, Dale, you have an experience at Bruin Forest?
His wife and I, yeah.
What, Dale? We want to know because Dale had done a lot of research in Bernheim. There are Bigfoots in Bernheim. The 2 park rangers had sightings in Bernheim. A sheriff deputy over behind Jim Beam, his whole family's had sightings over there behind Jim Beam, and I've had my own encounters all through there. So there's definitely Bigfoot over by Bernheim.
Right. When I moved to Kentucky, that was one of the first places Charlie took me, was to Burnham Forest. Oh, it's hot in here.
Yeah, and I know where that's at. And you take as big as these things are, it wouldn't take them long to move that distance.
Right, and if you go right across 65 is Fort Knox.
Mm-hmm.
And, the southern part of Fort Knox, where the sergeant who we just interviewed, his videos on our channel, that sergeant, where that was, is right across from Bernheim, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people love to see a sketch. Hopefully, we'll get a sketch going.
Yeah, I mean, I'll if he calls, I just.
Well, here's what we'll do. I'll send him your interview. Let him sketch it, and then that way he'll just text you the picture, and you can say yay or nay, or like I said, the eyes need to be bigger, or just kind of give him some direction, and he'll redo it.
Maybe give it some thought first. Don't want to.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I don't care to do it. I've got it in my head anyway. Just putting it on paper just solidifies it a little bit more. Yeah. I don't have nightmares tonight. Because and what's terrifying is in real life you can't outrun them, but in your dreams it's even worse. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
This thing was coming around a cliff, and it was a long ways from me, but this thing was coming around that, and I'm talking about a sheer cliff, like where you're grabbing and stuff. It was coming around it. Too fast it was just amazingly fast coming around it, and me running for everything I had, and it was still gaining on me so fast.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start trying to get to the end of these comments. Before I do any more, Charlie's number is on the screen, guys. So if you've had an encounter and you would like to share, we would love to hear from you. Even if you don't want to go public with it, we do document all sightings, particularly within Kentucky. Charlie's got private map that he keeps updated. So please do
Right.
get in touch with us.
So again, if you wish to remain anonymous, we can arrange that for sure. We just want to take your story. If you want to go public, you can do it audio, you can do video, we could type it. There's all kinds of ways to go public with it.
So Dale, yes, please get a hold of us. Charlie's number is 502-435-2771. You can talk to us about it, and we would love to hear everything that happened.
What is this one?
All right, Terry.
Here's a long question here.
Go on, you read it from Terry.
Lots of hunters, they stopped hunting after seeing one. The whole experience freaked them out. They left hunting altogether. These stories are real. Yes, I agree.
People don't quit a sport they love on doubt or questionable encounters. The best eyewitness reports are the anonymous ones. They don't want any connection to strange encounter with something that is not supposed to exist. Yes and no. Some people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share it. They might give you brief details and they don't want to get into it. Other people, you know, that we're finding more and more is that they're more willing to talk about it. It's therapeutic and they want to share because it happened to them. It's a personal experience that you feel. What I think you want people to know about. It's important.
So here's a question that I get a lot. Why don't hunters shoot them? Like, you had a bow and arrow. I know the obvious reason, but explain why you did not shoot it.
Because it looked human, and that wasn't the main reason. Like I said, if I had a 7mm rifle, I don't care if I had a 50 cal rifle, I would not have shot at this thing. They are too big. When you see what I've seen, there's no way in hell that anybody's going to pull the trigger on one of these things as close as I was, because it's just, I don't know. Like I said, that there ain't no way. There ain't no way I would even. And if it had tried to advance on me and me aiming at it, yeah, probably out of a reaction. But for the mindset and the mind thought, hey, I'm going to kill this thing. No, no, it ain't going to happen. And I've heard, it took me 30 years to come out, and at first I didn't want to do it, and it helped because I was like, okay, I can get this off my chest, I can share. And then once I'd done it, then I was kind of, I'm glad I did, but it kind of brings up old memories about it and stuff. But yeah, it does help talking about it. And the people that want to stay anonymous, that's fine. I understand that, because they probably, if they've told anybody around them, like their immediate family, they probably got shot down like I did.
Right. Somebody mentions PTSD here. Do you think that's a factor for you, perhaps?
1,000%.
Yeah. Northwest Native Tracker says they are omnivores.
We agree, omnivores. They eat apples. We've seen witnesses in Kentucky eating apples off a tree, persimmon, soybean, corn, deer, nuts, blackberries. We got reports of them eating everything, dumpster diving, roadkill.
The prominent brow ridge makes sense to protect the eyes when it's just barrels through the forests or bushes, like they aren't even there. Right, okay, the brow ridge, protects the eyes. That would make sense.
Let's do
we got a couple more.
Let's do one more question, and we'll let Jimmy get some sleep.
All right, here's a good question.
You guys
last question.
This question comes up, Jimmy, and it can be a little bit of an awkward question, but Brian has raised it, so we're going to roll with it. So thank you, Brian. Charlie, read it.
He wants to know, was it a male or female?
You said, did you see it?
It wasn't a female. Okay. I didn't see any genitalia. I wasn't looking. Like I said, the only thing I had this thing had a trance on me, and I had it in return. I can see everything through my peripheral, but did I stare? It was not a female. I can tell you that.
Because you saw the chest more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because the chest, it had hair on it, but I mean, it's just huge. I mean, the muscles, even though this thing had hair, I mean, you could see every muscle detail like a bodybuilder, but it didn't have a tapered waist like they do. This thing was just, it was a giant. This thing was huge.
So you know Patty, the Patterson Gimlin footage. How did it compare to Patty, would you say?
The way she was built, other besides than the female parts, you know what I'm saying? But that's what this thing looked like. It was big. It was muscular though, where you couldn't see a whole lot of muscle detail on that video. This thing had in its chest where she's real hairy. This thing, it had hair, but you could see a lot of the skin through it. And it's just the muscle detail was just 1,000% more prominent than it was on that one.
Right. Brian, well, primates have tiny genitalia in comparison to their size. So if it's more human, it might have normal size genitalia. Okay, good comment. Wayne, thanks for joining us. You had a power cut. I wonder if that storm passed through. That came through Kentucky, out in West Virginia. Bigfoot female lived on our ranch between 1968 and 1973. I know their diet. Okay, that's cool. Would love to hear more about that for sure. Where are we? Oh, here's Dale. Okay, Dale, it's just going through to voicemail. If you call in Charlie's that number 502.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just turned my phone off, Dale.
That's Charlie's cell phone.
I can't take the call now. Well, I can take it later, Dale. Sorry.
So either tonight or in the morning, he'll get back to you because we do want to speak to you about that. Oh, okay. Meaning a huge bulky body, like at the waist. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
do you want to do your sponsor real quick?
Yeah. So real quick, Jimmy, before you leave.
Oh, you're fine.
I forgot to do this. And I was supposed to do it first thing. So I need to share this real quick before we say goodbye. We have a company called Aftershock Preparedness, and they're sponsoring this show for us. So if you need to order anything, survival gear for camping, hiking, prepping for doomsday, they've got all the different foods. They've got Bigfoot gear, anything, self-defense, emergency food packets. They're loaded. This website is so full of every single thing you can ever imagine. Aftershock Preparedness. They're out of London, Kentucky. I highly recommend them. Super nice people. Buy local. So if you need something there, please go visit them. Well, Jimmy, we want to let you go. I know you got to get up early, and we thank you so very much for coming on.
Yeah, that ain't no problem. And I want to touch on something real quick before we go. This stuff that happened 3 months ago, I went around the lake to where I know these things were at and found a man and a woman and their kids. They heard it. The guy's telling me that every summer they go there fishing, they get run out of there. So one day he goes back and goes around this trail that goes around this bluff line, and he finds a big pile of bones. And I said, "You found a kill site." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, any other like coyotes or anything like that, they don't drag everything to one kill site." And he said the thing that got me was every year, and this stuff that's been going on with me has been the wintertime, and he's talking about in the summertime, they get rocks thrown in the water, breaking and stuff. And then there's another guy that there that sits in his jacuzzi at night and swears up and down these things are hollering. And the way a crow flies, that ain't 2 miles for me.
Well, keep documenting everything.
I would actually love to come down there sometime. That would be.
Yeah.
if you'd be willing to have us down there for an evening, that would be
Well,
fantastic.
come on down. We'll get a response. The only thing I ask is it stays very, very private. I do not want people knowing where I live.
That's what
Absolutely.
I was going to suggest that even before Lindsay invited ourselves. Now, I would have invited ourselves too, but
So that's fine. I've had other people to wants to do this, and
so our reputation is everything to us. We would never lose somebody's trust. You know, it's just not good for lots of reasons. So, but
we share a lot. There's a lot we don't share.
Right,
too.
we keep things private. So, what you just said, I'm sure you don't tell people where this is because you don't want other hunters in there. You don't want somebody ruining your hunt or shooting at a Bigfoot or whatever. So I'm glad you protect them as well.
yeah, yeah, and you know, at first I was like, oh, I want to find hair, I want to find blood, you know, to show people these things are real, this or that. I don't have to have it. I know they're real. This stuff is still going on. It ain't every day. That's what I'm saying. No, people, he sees them every day. No, it's not like that. It's random and out of the blue. Just last week, me getting up at 4 and leaving at 4:30, and that's before I started staying down here again. 3 mornings in a row, orbs across the road. And it was 2 mornings in a row. The third morning, I would not look that way. The fourth morning, I went out. I thought, I'm next to the truck because my truck's in the dark. You see in the picture. I looked over there and there was one single orb. I said, nope.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Well, keep your camera going. Keep taking videos, pictures. I'll try to get that audio analyzed for you. We'll try to get the sketch to you. Well, listen, Jimmy, we'll let you go. Get some sleep.
All right, we're gonna sign off and then we'll chat.
Yeah.
Don't hang up just yet. We'll chat. We'll go
Well,
incognito.
You mean with the guests?
Yes.
Oh, we'll let you go, Jimmy.
Oh,
let you go. You get some sleep, and we'll just answer a few more questions, okay?
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank
you so much.
Thank
Jimmy,
you.
Talk with you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Sleep well.
Oops. There, I think he can get out of there. Well, thank you guys,
All right, guys.
for tuning in.
That was really fun. I hope they enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy the show? Jimmy's just amazing, isn't he?
It was different. You get to hear him, his emotion, the details. You get to ask questions about his sighting. Some really great questions about, you know, what happened to him. But I say over and over again, this is another example where that Bigfoot did not hurt the person. That Bigfoot could have killed him. Someone mentioned in here a gorilla could crush a coconut with his hand. He said, if you heard Jimmy, its hand was so big the fingers would come down to his chin. That's how big the hand was. That Bigfoot could have grabbed his skull and crushed him, could have killed him, but did not. So
did not.
So anyway,
he lived to tell the tale. Fascinating. That was good. I hope you guys had a great night. Jim made a wonderful comment here. Hit that like button and subscribe. We do appreciate that no end. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, also subscribe.
Yes, thank you guys again. I'm gonna get some of Judy's chocolate cake. Judy, Greg.
There is some cake left, Judy, believe it or not.
We have chocolate cake left. I'm gonna go get that, put a little bit of peanut butter on it.
I'm gonna put the air on because it's hot as hell in here.
Yeah.
So. Like we don't have our air on. It's crazy hot. I'm dying. And it's late, so it's 10:30. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got an expedition on Thursday.
Well, I'm glad you guys tuned in. Next Tuesday, we don't know what the topic is. We'll let you know. Every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Hope you guys can join us. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, guys. Good night.